Welcome back to this new inspirational video. Today I wanted to start with chapter 1 from the book The Science of Being Great by Wallace Wattles. Now this is the third piece of literature that I wanted to share through my channel because it's an immensely powerful book and I know it can help you tremendously. Now when we talk about the science of being great, we're not talking about becoming arrogant and being full of ourselves and feeling like we're so great and this and that. None of that, but what it is about is both very spiritually. In future chapters he's talking about God and other aspects of the universe, but it's also about reminding ourselves that the only thing we really want to do when we know what we want to realize in our lives is to simply become good or great at doing it. Now, this greatness again is not from a place of arrogance, but simply a reminder that we are gonna give it our very best so that we can create the best results that is possible for us to create with the power that we ourselves have. So chapter 1 is titled Any Person May Become Great. So I'm hoping that you're ready to become great yourself, because you can. You have greatness locked up within you, the power to become great and good at anything you want to do. Now Wallace said, there is a principle of power in every person. By the intelligent use and direction of this principle, man can develop his own mental faculties. Man has an inherent power by which he may grow in whatsoever direction he pleases, and there does not appear to be any limit to the possibilities of his growth. No man has yet become so great in any faculty but that it is possible for someone else to become greater. The possibility is in the original substance from which man is made. Genius is everywhere, flowing into man and through man. Genius is more than talent. Talent may merely be one faculty developed out of proportion to other faculties, but genius is the union of man and God in the acts of the soul. Great men are always greater than their deeds. They are in connection with the reserve of power that is without limit. We do not know where the boundary of the mental powers of man is. We do not even know that there is a boundary. The power of conscious growth is not given to the lower animals. It is man's alone and may be developed and increased by him. The lower animals can, to a great extent, be trained and developed by man, but man can train and develop himself. He alone has this power, and he has it to an apparently unlimited extent. The purpose of life for man is growth, just as the purpose of life for trees and plants is growth. Trees and plants grow automatically and along fixed lines. Man can grow as he will. Trees and plants can only develop certain possibilities and characteristics. Man can develop any power which is or has been shown by any person, anywhere. Nothing that is possible in spirit is impossible in flesh and blood. Nothing that man can think is impossible in action. Nothing that man can imagine is impossible of realization. This is absolutely powerful. It always makes me excited because every time I think of my own dreams and imagine them, well, it is a good reminder for you as well, to realize that nothing that you can imagine is impossible of realization. That should give you great hope if you but just believe in this, if you dare to accept this premise. Don't fight it, just accept it. It's gonna be fun, trust me. It's gonna do you a lot of good in reality. Now man is formed for growth and he's under the necessity of growing. It is essential to his happiness that he should continuously advance. Life without progress becomes unendurable, and the person who ceases from growth must either become imbecile or insane. The greater and more harmonious and well-rounded his growth, the happier man will be. There is no possibility in anyone that is not in everyone. But if they proceed naturally, no two people will grow into the same thing or be alike. Every person comes into the world with a predisposition to grow along certain lines, and growth is easier for him along those lines than in any other way. This is a wise provision, for it gives endless variety. It is as if a gardener should throw all his bulbs into one basket. To the superficial observer they would look alike, but growth reveals a tremendous difference. So of men and women. They are like a basket of bulbs. One may be a rose and add brightness and color to some dark corner of the world. One may be a lily and teach a lesson of love and purity to every eye that sees. One may be a climbing vine and hide the rugged outlines of some dark rock. One may be a great oak among whose boughs the birds shall nest and sing, and beneath whose shade the flock shall rest at noon. But everyone will be something worthwhile, something rare, something perfect. Now he's actually saying that about you as well. Everyone will be something worthwhile, something rare, something perfect. So that means that you are something worthwhile, something rare, something perfect. Isn't that beautiful? Now, we're not saying that to flatter your ego. We're saying that to your soul. Your soul has to hear the call. It has to hear us call to awaken so that you can grow into the greatness that is in store for you, where God will inspire and guide you towards all the right activities of your life. Now, there are undreamed of possibilities in the common lives all around us in a large sense. There are no common people. In times of national stress and peril, the cracker box loafer of the corner store and the village drunkard become heroes and statesmen through the quickening of the principle of power within them. There is a genius in every man and woman waiting to be brought forth. Every village has its great man or woman, someone to whom all go for advice in time of trouble, someone who is instinctively recognized as being great in wisdom and insight. To such a one the minds of the whole community turn in times of local crisis. He is tactily recognized as being great. He does small things in a great way. He could do great things as well if he did but undertake them, and so can any man, so can you. The principle of power gives us just what we ask of it. If we only undertake little things, it only gives us power for little things. But if we try to do great things in a great way, it gives us all the power there is. But beware of undertaking great things in a small way. Of that we shall speak farther on. There are two mental attitudes a man may take. And before I go on, this is so important. This part I had it underlined, this paragraph that we're about to cover. You really have to listen to this because it's going to be the key to your future, to a great destiny. So he said there are two mental attitudes a man may take. One makes him like a football. It has resilience and reacts strongly when force is applied to it, but it originates nothing. It never acts of itself. There is no power within it. Men of this type are controlled by circumstances and environment. Their destinies are decided by things external to themselves. The principle of power within them is never really active at all. They never speak or act from within. The other attitude makes man like a flowing spring. Power comes out from the center of him. He has within him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. He radiates force, highest felt by his environment. The principle of power in him is in constant action. He is self-active. He hath life in himself. All these videos on my channel so far, they always talk about the fact that we have to stop letting circumstances control our minds. And that is another reminder that he just wrote in this paragraph. And if you look around you, it's true, many people, they don't act on themselves. They don't act of their selves, of their own accords. They only go along with what they're told to be doing. But what we're talking about here is if we're going to become great, we're going to have to use the power of our minds at will and direct it to a great purpose. Because then you are self-active. You have life in yourself. The ability to give a life to your own dreams is inside of yourself. Remember this. Now, no greater good can come to any man or woman than to become self-active. All the experiences of life are designed by Providence to force men and women into self-activity, to compel them to cease being creatures of circumstances and master their environment. In his lowest stage, man is the child of chance and circumstance and the slave of fear. His acts are all reactions resulting from the impingement upon him of forces in his environment. He acts only as he is acted upon. He originates nothing. But the lowest savage has within him a principle of power sufficient to master all that he fears. And if he learns this and becomes self-active, he becomes as one of the gods. The awakening of the principle of power in man is the real conversion, the passing from death to life. It is when the dead hear the voice of the Son of Man and come forth and live. It is the resurrection in the life. When it is awakened, a man becomes a son of the highest, and all power is given to him in heaven and on earth. Nothing was ever in any man that is not in you. No person ever had more spiritual or mental power than you can attain, or did greater things than you can accomplish. You can become what you want to be. And that's the end of chapter 1. This is so interesting and so powerful because if we're gonna be honest with ourselves, maybe you've already outgrown this tendency, but perhaps when you were younger you might recognize this, or you know people who are suffering from this. And it's that tendency that whenever we have a dream or goal, We might look into the world, we see others doing similar things, already being very successful, and then for whatever reason we think we can't be that successful, or they were lucky, we can't do it. Again, this chapter already is reminding us, as he said in those final lines, nothing was ever in any person that is not in you. No person ever had more spiritual mental power than you can attain, or did greater things than you can accomplish. You can become what you want to be as well. So whenever you look at those successful people, instead of seeing them as competition or whatever else you want to look at it from a negative angle, just understand they're no greater than you, but likewise you're no greater than them. But it just simply means that what they are achieving you can do for yourself with your own purpose and goals and dreams in life. You can have the same level of success as they have. The only thing you have to do is learn how to create that for yourself. How to use your mind in the right way. And that's what this book is going to be all about as well. To show us how we can achieve greatness in whatever we are called upon to do. Whatever your passions are calling you to do. If you learn to become great at executing it, there's no other result than to achieve greatness in your work. So I hope you look forward to the rest of this book. It's gonna get very awesome and very spiritual at times. But it's very important to understand our minds from as many angles as we can, so we can once and for all outgrow all of our limitations and achieve whatever we desire. Now, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing to receive inspirational videos on a regular basis. And with that being said, dear viewer, never forget that we are the dreamers.